This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome in to the last, not the last ever, but the last NFL draft room before the 2024 NFL draft. I am joined with my co-host to the right of me, JD. JD, how we doing today?
Doing great, my guy. It's draft time.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So as you and I are sitting here, we're a day and a week away. When everyone is seeing this tomorrow, we will be exactly 1 week away from the NFL draft. Are you, little DX, are you ready?
Bum.
You think you can tell us who to trade? Bum. You think you can tell us who to draft? Bum. You think that you're better?
Yeah, man. Best time of the year is a little over a week away. I'm pumped.
Also, JD, we have an announcement, and this announcement we'll be putting it on Twitter. We will be saying it again in our mock draft video, but we have a special announcement, something we have never done before that we are doing for the first time this year. So the beginning of housekeeping, I'll just get into it. We'll talk about, we usually stream the NFL draft each and every year. JD and I give our reactions to every pick as they are happening live. But JD, this year, we're not just doing the first round. For the first time ever, MVP will be live Thursday night for the first round of the NFL draft. And we will be live night 2, Friday night, our second stream, rounds 2, rounds 3. So that means the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft we'll be reacting to. It should be a great time. Friday will be interesting because it's the first time we've ever done a stream for the second and third round. But JD, we're going to do it because we love the NFL draft. I hope that you guys join us for it. Also, the rest of the housekeeping's the same. Discord, if you're not in it, join it down below. Greatest community in the universe. MVP, you can talk to all the fans. JD and I are in it. Dave, Soapy, everyone for MVP as well. Go ahead and join that. If you want to support us, you can watch this live. Hello, Soapy's in here right now watching us live. You can do that along with other perks like the Patreon podcast coming back this month. And it's not up as we're recording this, but it's coming up very soon. This guy and Soapy were on that one, so you can get that each and every month as well. That is down below in the description. Make sure to hit us up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. All of those are in the description. This guy is the one posting all those videos that you see to TikTok that we have, as Soapy is the one doing the Instagram. Last but not least, am I forgetting everything? Oh, you'll hear from the sponsor of the show, BETUS. Their sign-up link down below, 125% sign-up bonus for signing up at the link. You'll hear about them a little bit later in the show. But JD, let's get into everything. We are a week away from the NFL draft. I keep pausing whenever I say NFL draft because for some reason in my head, I keep wanting to say, oh, we're a week away from the NFL mock draft. But it's not a mock draft. It's the draft.
No, it's real. It's a real thing.
So that's why every time I've said NFL draft so far, you'll notice I'm like, yeah, we're a week away from the NFL draft. Because in my head, I'm like, mock draft. No, it's not a mock draft. But JD, what we're talking about today, the main meat and potatoes of everything is the top of the draft. Because that's what people care about when we get close to the draft. And this year, we already know who's going number 1. Last year, we had the kind of like, oh, will it be Bryce Young? Will it be this guy? Will it be that guy? Should it be Will Anderson? We know who the number 1 pick is this year. Caleb Williams will have his name called number 1, just like in the WNBA draft. We all knew it was going to be Caitlin Clark. That's why the number 2 pick kind of becomes the number 1 pick, JD, because we don't know what in the world the Commanders are going to do. We also don't know who number 3 is going to do in the Patriots. So we're going to kind of take an in-depth look at both of these teams today and kind of talk about it. There have been rumors galore throughout the entire process, JD. We'll start with the Commanders. At first, it was like early in the draft process, oh, they're going to trade the pick to get more draft capital. Then in the middle, it was like, oh, they're going to keep it. They're going to take a QB. JJ McCarthy is going to be their guy. JD, now the main guy in all the rumors is, oh, they're going to take a QB. They're going to take JD, your guy, Jaden McDaniels. And this is, or Jaden Daniels. I keep saying McDaniels.
I know.
And that's the one thing people in the mock draft are like, oh, he says McDaniels. You don't get the joke. That's my joke. 1, Ricky says names wrong. 2, I've said McDaniels the entire time. I know it's Daniels. I just say McDaniels. And JD, I'm going to throw this question to you. If you're the Commanders at number 2, what do you think will happen when we get to the draft? Are they trading it away? Are they taking a QB? And who's the right QB for the Commanders at 2?
So I think they are staying at 2. Now, I think what they will do is take Drake May, but I think the right move is taking Daniels.
Yeah.
So, but that's because I like Daniels more.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think they got to go quarterback. I mean, I forget what year it was. I think it was 2021 when they made the playoffs, and that defense was insane. They were close to being a good team that year, or a really good team, I guess. And I think they're missing that quarterback. So I think taking a swing at either Drake May or Jaden Daniels is their best option and the most likely. And I mean, yeah, I think that's what they need to do there because their defense is still decent. It's not amazing, but it's not that bad. And they could still use some more weapons, but it starts at the quarterback position. If you get an amazing quarterback and you strike gold, then that will make up for a lot of your team's disadvantages.
So you noticed something when you said a certain name. My reaction, for those of you on YouTube, my reaction was like, oh, thank God that you said that name. I hope the Commanders take Drake May. The only reason why, then my Vikings don't get the chance to take Drake May. JD, quick aside for everyone else out there, yes, I'm a Vikings fan. There are 2 names in this draft I want nowhere near Minnesota. Want nowhere near. One of them is Drake May, Mr. I can't throw the ball deep. And the other one is JJ McCarthy, Mr. I can't throw the ball at all. I don't care about a pro day. Look at him last year. Can't throw the ball. Can't throw the ball. Don't want him on my team. The guys that I think are the best in this draft class for quarterbacks, Caleb is obviously number 1. Daniels is 2. Penix is 3 in the order. I like Penix the most, but those are the 3 guys that's like, if any of those 3 guys were on my team, you're very happy. And with the Commanders, I agree with you. They're not like early in the process, I was buying into like, oh, they're going to trade. And the main reason why is they had Sam Howell. And I said earlier on, it's like, oh, Sam Howell put the foot in my mouth. He played a lot better than I thought he was. I thought last season was going to be like, oh, let's just get through Sam Howell. It kind of was, but he played well. He played well last year. So I was like, oh, maybe they keep him. Spoiler alert, they did not. They traded him away. He's no longer on the team. And now you have a new coaching staff with Dan Quinn as your new head coach. Riverboat Ron's not there. Dan Quinn is now your head coach. And Eric Bieniemy, he's now in college. I believe Eric Bieniemy is now with UCLA, I believe is where he got hired. Correct me down below if I'm wrong on that comment section. But now the OC for the Commanders is Cliff Kingsbury, the guy that I thought the Bears should have hired, because why wouldn't you pair up the guy that Cliff Kingsbury worked with in college with USC? I almost said UFC. USC. But with Cliff Kingsbury as the OC, that's where my point is. Which quarterback matches up with the style that Cliff Kingsbury wants? And you look at it, Caleb Williams worked with him in college this year with that USC team. Lincoln Riley was the head coach, but Cliff Kingsbury was on that staff. And when he was at Arizona, who do you have, JD? Who do you have in Arizona? I'm not a big fan of him.
Call of Duty,
Kingsbury
Kyler.
really wanted him. Kyler Murray. That was another one. I don't mean to be like Dave. when I say that, really harp on the negative comments. But I love how one of the comments on my last mock was, "This guy doesn't believe in Kyler." Done. Really, if you believe in Kyler Murray right now, you're the one that's dumb. My inner Dave is coming out.
I
right
know.
now.
He was at the UFC 300, and I was shocked.
Who,
I thought
Kyler?
I thought he had Call of Duty to play. It was the weekend, man.
He's all burnt out.
Off-season.
He's all burnt out of Call of Duty now. He's got to recharge the Jets before November and December when the next one comes out.
Yeah.
He can only play it during the season too. But my point being is, which one? So Caleb Williams this year in college, Kyler Murray with the Cardinals. When he was at Texas Tech, JD, who was his quarterback at Texas Tech?
Pat?
Best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, Pat.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And although none of these quarterbacks are Patrick Mahomes, that's the anomaly. If you look at all three of the quarterbacks I mentioned, they all have a similarity to them. They are all guys that you could see as dual threat quarterbacks. Caleb's probably the one that maybe not he's like the on the outside. Obviously, Kyler and Mahomes run more than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is more of a passer, but I look at it and I go, who are the two dual threat quarterbacks in this draft? One, Jaden Daniels. Two, Michael Penix. Those are the two guys I'm looking at. Whoever you like better. If I was the guy making the pick for the Commanders, Michael Penix would be my quarterback. I love Michael Penix. I think he's going to, when we look back, we're going to be looking back at this draft like, wow, Caleb Williams and Michael Penix are the two guys from this draft class that are the best. The other ones, kind of there. Maybe mediocre. Maybe the true question is, will any of these quarterbacks turn into Josh Rosen? Now, I will say Josh Rosen didn't get a chance. He never got the proper chance. I will stand by that. Wasn't his fault. But Josh Rosen fizzled out of the league. Never got the chance to be the guy. Will anyone be that? But I do think that Jaden Daniels is the guy who will have his name called for the Commanders just because it matches up with their OC and Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Drake May, he can. I know we're talking about Jaden Daniels, but Drake
ahead.
May, he can still. I don't really like him, but I do think he is a little bit underrated when it comes to the mobility aspect. I don't think he's just like a statue. So I think he can do both pretty well. But I do agree. Jaden Daniels, again, if it were me, I would be the one to take him because, like you said, I think he fits Cliff Kingsbury's his style.
Yeah,
system.
That's a better word. You were right.
And yeah, Penix, again, you're way higher on him than I am.
I love Michael Penix.
Yeah. So but I do agree.
I'm gonna cut you off for a second. You know what scared me though yesterday?
What?
So because I'm a gambler, I have an app on my phone called the Action Network, and they have some videos on it. And they had a live video yesterday with Johnny Manziel talking about a quarterback. And he was making the point, and the video was about how Michael Penix is the most NFL-ready quarterback in the draft. Made me feel like, yes, I agree with you, but then also was like, oh, I don't know how Johnny Manziel with the whole, how he panned out. I don't know if that's an idea I should me and Johnny Manziel agree, so should I be afraid that me and Johnny Manziel agree? Hi, everybody. Just want to take a quick moment out of today's podcast to tell you about our sponsor for today, BETUS, a sports book that has it all, whether it's basketball, hockey, football, soccer, whatever you like to bet on, BETUS has you covered. And they are offering our viewers and listeners today a 125% sign-up bonus just for using our link down below in the description. So go ahead, use that link down below and get your 125% sign-up bonus, BETUS. And now, let's get back to the podcast.
Again, this is a topic for another video, but I think
you said that, and I'm like,
I think Johnny Manziel, honestly, if he, wasn't addicted to partying, I think he would have been a good NFL quarterback.
Or if he actually studied
Yeah.
The whole
Ex-
thing with the tablet time. Like, well,
Yeah.
how much time does he have on his tablet? 0.
0.
He never picked
Yeah.
the tablet up.
Exactly. But yeah, so I mean, I do agree with that. Like, I do see a world where maybe they go JJ McCarthy, but I think that's the complete wrong move. But I think ultimately it's going to be Jane Daniels that, or sorry, I think it's going to be Drake May, but I would go Jane Daniels.
I got a question for you, JD. So we're gonna play a game here. Because me being me, one thing I will say, this is kind of me, a little bit on my chest here, little bit of me being real here to the listeners on the podcast. I am very, 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 what's the word? Upset with myself, down on myself, because last year I set a goal and I failed that goal, JD. My goal was to do draft scouting videos, and for the second year in a row, I didn't. Something I've been battling. I'm very down on myself for it because it's like, wow, you're so late. Like you're so lazy. You can't do these videos.
I hate that, man. I mean, real life is busy.
It's not even real life. It's just me being like, wow, you're so lazy. You can't do it. But I do have. They can't see it because of like my lights, but. I do have. See, that's gonna be like brightness. I hate how my lights just make it bright white. But I do have here my Drake May notes, so you can kind of see that there's writing on there.
Yeah.
If I angle it like that, there is writing on here. I'm gonna list off the strengths that I have for Drake May. You're gonna tell me if you agree or disagree, and if you want to elaborate on any of them. I want to see how you feel about Drake May compared to me, because he is somebody that I feel in the right place he could be successful, but there are definitely question marks to where it's like, with me as a Viking, I don't want him as a Viking because I have Justin Jefferson and I feel like he can't throw the deep ball, but I just want to play this game, so humor me for a second. The number one strength I had written down while watching his film is his decision making when to run. Kind of like what you were saying. Like, he's not the guy that's going to be like, whoa, blazing speed, but like his decision making on when to throw, when to stay in the pocket, but also when to, hey, I got to get out of here, let me run. Especially, he's not someone that's going to run around. He's someone that's, oh, I'm going to get out of here, let me run right up straight through the line.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Like, because again, that goes to what I was saying with the underrated like athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, that's his strength that I actually like the most, because unlike, again, people are gonna think I just hate the Bears, even though he's not a Bear no more.
Yeah.
But that was my biggest gripe with Justin Fields,
Mm-hmm.
and my main reason why I didn't think he was gonna work out in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Just because being able to read the situation, read the defense, or just not try to play hero ball all the time.
Yeah.
That is, in my opinion, one of the most important things when it comes to being an NFL quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can already have that developed in college, I think you'll have a long NFL career. And just for that sole reason is why I think Drake May, at the very least, will just be a mid-level quarterback. I mean, I think he'll have a high floor because of that. He'll know when to throw the ball away. He won't be a heavy turnover machine. He'll be able to get those extra yards when you need them on fourth down.
Well, and that's like the other thing I have here is later on I put that it's not that he's just good decision making when to run. He's also a smart runner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not just like, oh, I got to run and I'm panicked. He actually is smart. Where to go? Where's the hole? It's kind of like he has a little bit of running back in him. But the second point I had, and this is something you want in a quarterback, confident pocket presence. Mm-hmm. He never looked afraid. Like, he never looks afraid in the pocket. He's confident. And then also, while in the pocket, his eyes are always downfield. Always are downfield. It always looks like he's looking like, okay, where's my wide receiver? Who's open? So it's not a question of like that's the one thing where it's like, you have that question of like, oh, how's this guy going to read defenses? To me, if you're a guy that has your eyes downfield, this part of the game, and for the audio listeners, I'm pointing to my dome, this part of the game is probably there if your eyes are always downfield and you have that confident presence in the pocket.
Yeah, and that's something that like I did notice as well when watching him, and again, it's a good thing because a lot of quarterbacks in college rely only on their system and their scheme. So him being able to read like the different receivers, like go through his progressions, like okay, for wide receiver 1, he's not open. Wide receiver 2, he's not open. Okay, wide receiver 3, okay, he's open. Let me get him the ball. That is such an important thing because again, in colleges, coaches are trying to win games. So a lot of times if like a team's running like the RPO system, okay, well, either I'm going to hand it off or just get it to this guy, to my first wide receiver. And, so again, it's a good thing because again, it goes into what I just said. Being able to already do that will benefit him. Like personally, again, even though I'm not a big fan, it goes into one of the reasons why I think Drake May will be probably the most NFL ready quarterback in this year's draft, just because he's the most polished already. Well, next to Caleb Williams, but yeah.
Now, I also had my last strength was that he's got a nice zip on the ball when it comes to slants and middle routes. Here's the question though. All of the weaknesses. I mentioned that nice zip. I'm just going to read off all the weaknesses. You tell me if any of these are glaring or if I'm off on any of these. I've got arms. This is the one I harp on the most. Arm strength. His deep ball. There were so many times watching film that it looked like the wide receiver had to slow down. Like, I have to slow down, wait for the ball to come to me. He wasn't hitting them in stride on fly routes. That's why I don't want him on the Vikings, because if I have a guy like JJ that's going to burn down the field, I don't want you to hinder what JJ and even Jordan Addison can do because you can't throw the ball down the field. So, like, that's what I mean, where it's like, if he goes to a team that only runs slants and middles, he'll be fine. I also have, he's got too much movement in his throwing motion. That can be worked on, but I usually don't like that. It's kind of like the Tim Tebow thing where it's like he had that, like, he's throwing like this. I don't like that. You know what? I'll pass. I'll go to a guy who doesn't have that. I also have he struggled against great defensive rushers. I look into the Pitt game. I look to the Miami game. The games where they had elite pass rushing, that confident pocket passer, he wasn't overcoming that. Then I also have he throws deep bombs looking laboring, like he's got to really put it in, going with the arm strength. And then that the UVA game, his Virginia game, worst game of the season. Worst game of the season for Drake May.
So there's some things you said that I agree with and some that like I see where you're coming from, but I just don't know if I'm on the same page.
Okay.
So the one where you said that like your main point where you said that the wide receivers had to slow down. The thing with UNC is like I kind of put that on the receivers because there are a few times where sure they had to slow down and you could say okay, well maybe that's Drake May not having the arm strength, but I really put it to the lack of communication or like I don't want to say familiarity because they should be familiar with each other after a couple of years in college.
Because this was his second year, right?
Yeah,
being a starter.
Yeah, but the reason why I put that on the receivers is because there were times that I was watching UNC play, and the amount of drops that the wide receivers had for like on deep balls were pretty astonishing. So that's why I'm just like, again, some are on him, some are on the receivers, but it kind of makes me scratch my head because were they just not on the same page? Were they expecting maybe get the ball a bit earlier or a bit later?
Yeah.
And that's why they had to kind of slow up. So that was like the thing where I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, I would like to, I need to see it more in the NFL because then that's when stuff should be refined.
But my question is, if you are a team drafting the quarterback right now, you don't get to see what it's going to be like in the NFL. So like right now, are you looking at that going like, would you look at that and go, yes, I'm drafting him? No, I'm not drafting him. I look at it and I go, hey, even if I need to see how it's in the NFL, just because of that, no, I'm not drafting you. I'll look somewhere else. I'll look at the other 4 that I have.
This might be a hot take, but I would still draft him because, like I mentioned earlier, like all the other positives I said, at the very least you're getting an average quarterback, and I find some of the other quarterbacks in the draft are much higher boom or bust guys. So I would probably still take him. That's not enough for me to just cross him off. The part I do agree with, which was actually something I want to mention earlier, when he did end up looking like shaky against those top rushers, is that is something that does concern me because I saw what you were saying, like he looked like he was seeing ghosts.
Because the worst NFL team is like an elite college team.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and
except for like Alabama,
and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I don't think Washington has the best offensive line, so that's why I was like, okay, well, they're going to be facing Philly twice a year. They're the Giants. I mean, they have a good defensive line. The Cowboys have Micah Parsons
twice a year.
Yeah, twice a year. And again, obviously they're playing other teams, but I don't know how good that Washington offensive line is. But it definitely that does concern me with him because, like you said, when he has a clean pocket and he feels himself, and that's what you want to see. That's a good thing. But the moment he gets hit early in a game specifically, like that Miami game, I think he got hit on the first play of the game, if I remember correctly, when I went back to watch it, and he wasn't the same compared to when he has a clean pocket.
So I'm going to list off this, okay? Because you said they play other teams. I'm going to list off the non-divisional opponents. You tell me basically if they would be better or worse than an elite college rushing.
Well, they're all going to be better though.
Yeah, like or will they be a problem for him? I'll say the first one's the Falcons. I will say they could have like a Dallas Turner. They could take Dallas Turner.
I mean, I would say they shouldn't give them that much of a problem. I don't love their defensive line.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Chicago. That Chicago defense is pretty good. Better than the offense.
The defense. Yeah, I mean, I'll say yeah for now. I got to give Bears fans some hope.
Myles Garrett. Not even the Browns, just Myles Garrett.
Yeah, take it from an AFC North team. Yeah.
Pittsburgh, TJ Watt in your face.
Yep.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
The Cardinals.
No.
Baltimore.
We'll see, because they lost a lot on that defensive line, so we'll see.
JD. Bengals.
We'll see after Thursday. If we get Byron Murphy, then yeah.
New Orleans. Little New Orleans.
They always have a good defense, so yeah.
And they could be in the running for like a Jared Verse or something.
Yeah.
And then Tampa Bay.
They should be fine with Tampa.
So yeah, those would be the D lines that the Commanders are going up against next year.
But again, like the Commanders, I'm not super familiar with their offensive line, but if they're average, if they play average, then it shouldn't be the end of the world. But that is a concern I have.
Let's see. I'm going to pull up our lads really quick. Great. They're not a sponsor, but I will say if you're looking for great depth charts for college and NFL, I love the site Our Lads. Let's see. Right now, the starting offensive line for the Commanders, they have Cornelius Lucas at left tackle, former Illinois Fighting Illini Super Bowl champion Nick Allegretti at left tackle, Tyler Biadasz?
Yeah, Biadasz. Yeah, Biadasz. I remember him.
At center, they have Sam Cosmi at right guard and Andrew Willie at right tackle.
Sam Cosmi. Was he I remember him from the draft. I
Cosme
think
was out of Texas.
yeah, because I wanted the Bengals to draft him.
Mm-hmm. He's only been with the Commanders.
I mean, yeah, like that's an average offensive line, maybe a little below average,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean, so they should be fine. Um, but like that's the thing, right? Like again, I don't know if it's enough to make me just cross him off my draft board.
Here's the other thing I wanted to point out about the Commanders before we switch gears and go to the Patriots. And this is the thing about the Commanders that has worried me is I look at their team and I've got their contracts up on my phone. And it's like, yeah, they signed Austin Eckler. Eckler and Brian Robinson are there for the next 2 years. But their wide receivers, so McLaurin and Dotson are there long term. But every Jamison Crowder, you've got what is it? Zacchaeus that he used to be with Philadelphia. Now he's with the Commanders.
Zacchaeus?
Olamine Zaka. I'm butchering this name. He used to be with the Eagles. Now he's with the Commanders. Like
Yeah.
they have a lot of guys, even like Bates, Ertz on the tight end side. Even their even their offensive line, 1, 2, 3, 4. They've got a ton of guys that are free agents next year, even defensively, to where it's like, I almost feel like this team could be losing a lot of pieces to free agency. That it's like, we need a quarterback who is more, and this is why I would stay away from Drake May for them. I need a quarterback who's more NFL ready now. I need one that's not necessarily going to win me a Super Bowl right away, but I need the CJ Shroud. I don't need the Bryce. Young.
Yeah.
Basically is how I'm going to look at this based off of last year. But let's shift gears. Number 3, let's say the Commanders stay put. They're drafting a quarterback. JD, congratulations. You and Gerard Mayo are in that Patriot war room. Robert Kraft has drafted you to take over his spot because he's old and senile and can't make a draft pick. Robert Kraft is not old and senile. I'm just making a joke.
He is quite old.
But senile, I don't know. Making a joke there. But you're in the war room for the Patriots. You trading the number 3 pick. You're taking a quarterback. And if you're taking a quarterback, who is that quarterback going to be?
Well, again, I hate to be boring, but if the Commanders go Drake May, then I'm going Jaden Daniels. I mean, again, we don't really know what
is that the quarterback that's the best fit for the Patriots.
That I don't really know because we haven't seen Mayo as a head coach, right? We don't really know what he's looking for in a quarterback. If we were looking to the Bill Belichick Patriots, I would say no, it isn't a fit. But I don't know. Something tells me Jared Mayo, he would like Jaden Daniels, and that's just a tease. But
and their offensive coordinator, I will say, is their offensive coordinator. His name is Alex Van Pelt.
Oh, I heard of him. Yeah,
he is new to the Patriots, and you've heard of him, JD, because for the last 2 years, or no, the last 3 years since 2020, he's been with the Cleveland Browns as their offensive coordinator, and then last year he was their OC and quarterbacks coach.
Yeah. So I mean, well,
Andy was with you guys in 2018, 2019 as your QB coach.
Yeah, that's fine.
What year did you guys draft Burrow?
2020.
Okay, so he was working with the dudes before.
Browns. Yeah, because
who's your quarterback? Was that the Red Rocket in 1819?
Yeah, I saw his last season with the Bengals.
Other teams he's been with, 14 to 17. He was with the Packers as a QB coach. He was their running back coach in 12-13. He's a quarterback coach with the Bucks in 2010, 2011. OC with the Bills in 09, quarterback coach with the Bills in 08.
This guy's old. I thought he was a lot younger. This guy's old.
So yeah, he's 20 years of experience. So he's worked with quarterbacks from the Bills, the Bucks, the Packers, the Bengals, and the Browns. It's a lot of different quarterbacks.
So
I gotta look at all the quarterbacks for these teams, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because when you say the names, the only team that had a good quarterback through those years were the Packers. Because the Bengals, I mean, again, I stan Andy Dalton, but bro wasn't that great. And the Browns, they haven't had a good quarterback ever. So you have the Browns, and then the Bills were garbage in the late 2000s.
So with you guys, he was working with Andy Dalton, right?
And AJ McCarron.
Was he working with AJ McCarron?
Yeah.
But who was your starter? Like your true tried? That's who
Andy Dalton.
Yeah, I'm talking about the starter. In Cleveland, what year did they trade for Deshaun Watson?
Like 2 years ago.
So that would have been what, 2022?
Yeah.
So from 2020 to 2022, who was their quarterback before Watson? Baker. So he worked with Baker and Watson.
And look, Baker leaves and he turns good. Crazy.
In Green Bay, so 14 to 17. I'm pretty sure that was just Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna double check though.
Unless he got injured.
Make sure my math is right. Yeah, but we're talking about main starters, JD.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Unless he got injured. So yeah, because he was the starter for that during that time.
This is such a weird way they that this Wikipedia page mapped it up. So 14 to Aaron Rodgers was there. He also worked with a little bit of Brett Hundley when he was in there. Matt Flynn was there for a game. He had that game against the Lions, probably his first year, I believe, in 2014. The Bills, though, 2008, 2009, was that Tyrod? Before I even look and double check?
I don't know. I think that was before Tyrod.
Oh, wow. So in 2008, the quarterback, so when he was the quarterback coach of the Bills?
Sam Castle?
No, Trent Edwards and JP Lossman were the two QBs that started games. And in 2009, you had Ryan Fitzpatrick started in 8, Trent Edwards started 7, and Brian Brome started 1 game.
Some names.
So he was working with Trent Edwards and Ryan Fitzpatrick when he was with the Bills. Wow, that was a long. I graduated high school in 2008, JD. Graduated high school. That was a long time ago.
See, whenever you say that stuff, it makes me laugh because it
you're so much younger.
Yeah. I was like 10 years old.
Yeah, I graduated high school when he was a quarterback coach. When he was working with Trent Edwards, I was a senior in high school, getting ready to go to college.
Dang.
I was getting ready that senior year, not really doing much because of senioritis. But yeah. With the Bucks too. 2010 was that. I'm trying to think off the top of my head the Bucks quarterbacks in 2010, 2011.
For Jameis, it's just a bunch of mush for me.
I'm trying to think, was that Freeman? Was that Josh Freeman?
It might have been.
Let's go. It was Josh Freeman. Josh Freeman started 16 games in 2010 and then 15, and Josh Johnson started a game in 2011. Do not question, as Soapy said, Ricky's an old man. Don't question the old man's knowledge. I remember my quarterback.
I thought it was Josh Johnson because I remember playing the old Madden games. And I used to love Josh Johnson.
I think Brad Johnson was also a Buck at one point. Is that or is that name way too old for you?
I don't know who that is.
So Brad Johnson, he was a former Viking. That's mainly why I know him. Yeah, he played for the Bucks when I was 11 to 14. Brad Johnson played for the Buccaneers. Brad Johnson was also a Redskin quarterback before they were the Commanders. Then the Vikings in 2005, 2006, and then the Dallas Cowboys in 7 and 8, and he won a Super Bowl when he was with the Buccaneers. That's when they beat the John Gruden. John Gruden beat the Raiders because he had the playbook. Because the Raiders
Oh.
fired him. He had the playbook. They didn't change it. He then went to the Bucks. They met Rich Gannon was the quarterback of the Raiders.
Rich
Wow,
Gannon.
I am really old right now.
Wasn't he a coach?
Come
Too?
on, JD. He was a quarterback.
Rich Gannon?
He's a quarterback, my dude.
No, I know, no, but I mean recently, or like
I believe so. Let me
or
look it up.
there's someone with the name Gannon that.
Yeah, Rich Gannon, I believe. Let's see. No, he has not coached. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten into coaching. He has a son. I know he has a son. His son is probably a coach. Let's see. Personal life.
Podcast has just turned into a history lesson.
No, like I believe now that you say it, I know that Rich Gannon has a son, and I believe his son.
Is it like Nick Gannon or something?
I don't know. Jonathan Gannon? Jonathan Gannon is the head coach of the Cardinals right now.
Okay, yeah,
that's probably who you're thinking of. I
yeah.
don't think he's related to Rich Gannon, though. No, he is not related to Rich Gannon, but Jonathan Gannon is the head coach of the Cardinals right now. That's probably who you're thinking of. Soapy says, bro, Gannon from Legend of Zelda was coaching? No, Gannon was not coaching. But with the Patriots, I think it's interesting because I still go back to the comment Gerard Mayo made at the very first conference when he was introduced as their head coach. And I'm going to pull it up because I have it in my mock draft notes from a while ago. The exact quote he said, "We are going to take the best player available for the biggest need on the team." So I look at that and I go, they're going to stick and take a quarterback, right? Right? But then there's a part of me that goes, what if there's not just one big need on this team? What if there's several big needs and a team like the Vikings want to give you 2 firsts for it? So like that's why to me, JD, I'm going to lean towards the Patriots trading this pick. The only question is, are the Vikings going to be super aggressive to get it done and trade up and get their guy? Or will a team like the Broncos, because here's the interesting thing. If Drake May, let's say Drake May doesn't go to the Commanders and it is Jaden Daniels, like you said they should do. If Drake May's there at 3, the Vikings are probably going to want to trade up for him, even though I would not want that. The Broncos have also been very linked to Drake May, that apparently Sean Payton loves Drake May and he is a Sean Payton guy.
Yeah. I mean, let me sit up for this.
Or does a team, do you, honestly, this is out of left field, do you believe the rumors that the Giants are going to trade up for a quarterback to replace Danny Dimes?
No, I don't. I think, if anything, they'll just take a swing on a quarterback in like rounds 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, like with the that's tough. Like I understand like the idea of trading back, like if I'm the Patriots, because I do think that their team has a lot of holes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tough. It's because for me, like I go back and forth on this quarterback class on a daily basis.
It's not that great of a class. That's what you're
saying.
Yeah, like
yeah, because it's just sometimes like I have to go back and rewatch film on guys because I'll be like contemplating myself and like, man, for example, like I'm just gonna throw a name, JJ McCarthy. I'm like, okay, well, with everything I'm reading, teams love this guy. He's gonna be a top 10 pick. Great locker room guy, great leader. He has all the tools. And I'm looking, I'm like, I don't think so. Okay, I'm not going to take away his ability to be a leader. He led his team to a national championship. Good job. But for his skills, so I'm like, I've already watched him. Like I've watched most of his games from this past season.
Yeah.
But so I'm like, okay, well, let me dive into it again and see if I'm missing something, you know? So it's just I if I I originally I wanted to say stay and take Jaden Daniels, but again, Jaden Daniels is also somebody who is big boomer bust.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe trading with the Vikings would be smart, you know, fill out the rest of your team. You know, because you can still get pretty good talent in the first round that isn't a
Mm-hmm.
quarterback.
Yeah.
And then maybe you take a swing on someone like a Jordan Hall, um, in like the third round or something. And I mean,
What
maybe it
about like a
works out. Maybe,
Spencer Rattler?
yeah. I mean, you could do that as well. I mean, I don't love him, but it
Mm-hmm.
might as well take a swing, right? Like it doesn't hurt. At that point, you need to address a quarterback, and because I don't even if you draft
Mm-hmm.
two like non-quarterbacks
Later
in
on
the
quarterbacks.
yeah, if you draft two positional like non-quarterback positional players
Mm-hmm.
in the first round and then draft a quarterback later on, I still don't anticipate them being that good next year.
Mm-hmm.
So then again, I know you don't want to leave it up for a chance, but then maybe take a quarterback the following year.
You know what you could also do?
What?
And yet again, it decides on who wants to dance, but let's say we get closer to the end of night one, calling up either the Niners or the Chiefs and saying, hey, we'll give you 34. You don't have to fall back that far. You're falling so like for the Chiefs, you're falling back 2 picks into round 2. Let's go up and take a Bo Nix at the end of the first round. Only reason I'm trading up and not taking him at 34 is so I get that option on him.
Yeah, I mean,
The trade
I,
package wouldn't be a lot to trade up from 34 to 32 in my mind.
yeah, I would need to like see the actual package because for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Bo Nix guy,
Yeah.
so the extra year option really isn't worth to trade up
Dude, I
for
think what
me.
I think what a quarterback that extra year is always needed. Only with quarterback.
But if he doesn't pan out, who cares? Because for me, again, I hate to bury.
Always want the option just in case.
Yeah,
Always
I guess
want
that's
it.
just something we look at differently because
Mm-hmm.
for me, I rather take a positional player.
Yeah, you're looking
And
glass half empty. I'm looking half glass full. You're looking,
yeah,
well, what if he sucks? I wasted the trade. I'm
yeah,
looking, what if he's good? I get to keep him for another year
I
under that
guess.
contract.
But I'll be honest, like
Or if I
I'm
need to
more.
develop him one more year, I have that extra year with him and I don't have to pay him. A la
Yeah,
Justin Fields situation.
well, that's the thing. I think I'm a little more biased because
Mm-hmm.
I've been focusing more on the end of the first round
Mm-hmm.
more than the early first
Mm-hmm.
because I just find there's more intrigue in prospects with that range. So for me, it's like I'm like okay, well maybe a Kool-Aid McKinstry falls, maybe a one of those top offensive linemen fall.
So I always use this trade as the barometer. So way back when Lamar Jackson was a quarterback in the greatest quarterback class that we have seen in recent history, I'm going to say that was the Josh Allen, the Sam Darnold, the Baker Mayfield, the Lamar Jackson, the let's see, what was it? The Ravens traded up. They went a little further though. They traded for 32 and 132, so a first and a fourth. They gave up a second, a fourth, and a future second the next year. So it's like that's one to where it's like, okay, if I'm giving to move up from 52 to 32 to move up 20 picks, I have to give up a second and a fourth and a future second. If I'm moving up only 2 picks, I'm going to be able to give up less than that. And then the other one, the true barometer, I would say, is Teddy Bridgewater was the same thing. The Vikings traded with the Seahawks, and so the Vikings traded for 32, and in exchange they gave up a second and a fourth, which was 40th was their second round pick. So like I wonder if it's 32 and it's only 2, can I get away with a second and a sixth, a second and a fifth, and not have to give up a top 4, a third or a fourth round pick with that second rounder?
Yeah, I mean, like,
Could
it's
it be a
not a lot of.
conditional pick?
I mean, that's the thing. It's not a lot of value. I just
Mhm.
personally like. I don't love the prospect, you know.
You just don't like Bo
So
Nix.
yeah, that's really what it comes down to. If it was for like a better prospect, then I wouldn't have an
Like
issue
if
with it.
Michael
With that,
Penix fell there.
yeah. If it was Penix, then I like that a lot more than Bo Nix. I think that makes more sense, right?
Also, from what you were saying, let's say they made the trade with the Vikings, got 11 and 32.
Mhm.
Here are the top 5 needs for the Patriots according to NFLMockDraftDatabase.com. Quarterback is number 1, wide receiver number 2, offensive tackle number 3, tight end number 4, and edge rusher number 5.
Well, you could get a offensive lineman with the 11th pick, and then a wide
Mhm.
receiver with the 32nd.
Yeah, but then who's throwing them the ball?
Doesn't matter. You'll just suck this year, and then go get another quarterback the following year.
I forgot also they did re-sign. They do have Jacoby and Bailey Zapke.
Oh, they brought
Not
back
Zapke,
Zappy.
Zappy. Yeah, right
Yeah.
now their top 2 quarterbacks are
Yeah.
they've got Brissett, they've got Zappy, and then their third stringer right now is Nathan Rourke.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's CFL legend right there.
Nathan Rourke.
Yeah. But no, I mean Brissett's a fine bridge quarterback. So I
Mhm.
mean, if you suck for a year, I get it. Even with a top quarterback prospect, I don't think you're going to be very good.
Yeah,
So
I think there's a possibility that both of these teams make trades. To be honest with you,
yeah, I think there's more
I'm kind of
than
hoping it does. I want to see trades, dude. I want to see,
yeah. I don't know.
but like at the
I
same time, and this is where Patriot fans, Commander fans, like, do you want your team? Like, I don't even know the mind of a Commander fan or a Patriot fan. Do you want your team to stay put, or do you want your team to trade out? Like, I'm looking at it from a Viking fan. I want to trade up for a Michael Penix. I want to trade up for a Jaden Daniels. No JJ McCarthy. No Drake May. But like, do you if like I don't even know what a Patriot or Commander fan would want. Do you think you have any idea what they may want if they want their team to
if
stay put or trade?
if if I feel like Patriot fans probably
Mhm.
lean to keep the pick and
Well, this
get
is new territory for Patriot
yeah,
fans.
yeah, and get Jaden Daniels because I think they want the next
Mhm.
great quarterback, and Jaden Daniels has super high
They
potential.
want Tom Brady.
Yeah, and I mean, Mac Jones was definitely not that guy, and I mean, again, I called that. I mean,
Mhm.
so did a lot of other people,
Mhm.
but I think they're itching for a good quarterback. I think Patriot fans, not saying they'd be happy if this was just the rest of their lives, but I think they'd be happy if they draft Jaden Daniels and he balls out, wins Rookie of the Year, but they
Mhm.
suck. Like, all right, well, we got a quarterback.
Yeah.
So, but with the Commanders, I don't know. That one's weird. I feel like the Commander Nation would probably be split. I feel like a lot of them
Mhm.
would want them to take a quarterback because they haven't had a great quarterback in a long time. And I feel like some would want them to fill out the other holes on their team.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest, I can't wait to see how this draft unveils because I will say as we've gotten closer to the draft, I'm kind of like I'm excited, but I'm not as excited as last year. And I think the quarterbacks are a big thing. The one thing I can't wait for is I can't wait to see where all these wide receivers go. I love the
Yeah,
wide receivers this year, dude. I love them. Roma Dunes in an interview was saying he should be the number 1 wide receiver. I I hope he doesn't go to the Bears, but Bears fans, I would be very happy for you if he did. The only reason I don't want him to go to the Bears is I don't want to have to play him twice a year. I don't want to have to root against Roma Dunes twice a year, JD. That's the thing.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna take the blame for this
Mm-hmm.
draft because
You
I'm
are?
blaming I'm blaming yep, I'm blaming myself because last year when we were, around this time of year I was talking
Uh-huh.
about, oh man, can't wait for next year's draft. It's gonna be miles better than
Mm-hmm.
this year's draft. And No, I mean, as of right now, I think that last year's draft has like probably the highest chance of being a lot better than this year's draft, because this year's draft, like, I'm excited for it because it's draft time and it's chaos,
Yeah.
but but just with the prospects,
Mm-hmm.
I think this draft is mid, man. I've been
Well,
saying it since like the college season.
I'll tell you this, JD. Next year, you better get ready. You want to know why?
Why?
We coming. We coming. Get Shadur fever, baby. Get Shadur fever.
Yeah, you're gonna have to sell me on that, my man.
Oh, what if we made shirts that just said Shadur fever?
Probably get sued.
Would you? Would we? Shadur fever? It's a name. We're
Yeah,
not saying Shadur
Shadur-
Sanders. We're not putting his likeness. It's just text that says Shadur fever.
I think we'd have to do some research into that.
See, a name is a name. Nobody, like, I don't own the name Ricky because there's a lot of people named that. Now, if someone put my face on a shirt, then yeah, that's my likeness. I should be getting some of that money. But if we just made Shadur Fever shirts, I might make one for myself. Screw it. Just wear it next year. Shadur Fever. I've also thought about for myself just making an MVP polo, like a black polo that just has the MVP logo on it.
Yeah.
Things that have gone through my head. But JD, we're a week away. 1 week away from the draft. Remember, we will be live Thursday night for round 1, Friday night for round 2. It's going to be a spectacular. I would be live for Saturday's version. The only thing is I kind of have plans that day. I have a birthday party for my goddaughter. I have obligations that I need to be at. So we won't be live for all 3 days of the draft, but we'll be live for the first 2 nights of the draft. Remember, Discord down below, Patreon link is down below. Please support us if you want extra bonuses for that as well. Let us know what you guys think down below. Hit that like, that sub button, all that good stuff. JD, thank you for a good show. We're almost to the end. We're almost to the end. We got 1 more week, then the week after, then we get our break before football starts again.
Yes, sir.
That's going to do it for us. Thank you guys for everything that you do. Thank you for all the patrons that are watching. Thank you to Soaps who's watching as well. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
See ya.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.